Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, back again with Plantmas Day 10. That rhymes, and we're also in double digits, which is just ridiculous. I cannot believe we are only a couple days away from the end of Plantmas. Wow, I am so sleep deprived right now. It is not even funny. So in today's video, I'm so excited to be setting up my first ever reading journal for 2021. I got back into reading in 2020 in a serious way, and I've read upwards of 100 books so far this year. And throughout 2020, I was basically just tracking my reading with a single spread at a time in my bullet journal, as well as using Goodreads, and it just didn't feel like it was enough. I really wanted to be able to create way more spreads about reading and about specific books, about TBRs, about challenges, about goals, and just so much more. There's so much potential there, and obviously so many people have reading journals, so clearly there is potential there for a lot of things to write about and to create. And I just decided that I really wanted to be able to fully dive into the world of reading journals and kind of make it a fully separate thing from my regular bullet journal, which has all my work stuff in it. So that is what I'm doing, and I'm so excited about this. So I am using a square notebook for this setup, which is also super exciting to me. When I was first sent this square notebook from Archer and Olive, I nearly died. It is so stunning, and for whatever reason, the fact that it's square just tickles my fancy to no end. So I really wanted to use this for my reading journal. And for the style I'm going for, I really wanted to do something sort of in the realm of scrapbooky art journaling, because I've done a couple bullet journal themes in this sort of vein before, and I've always loved how they turned out, but it's not something that I sort of gravitate towards in my bullet journal necessarily. So I thought it'd be fun to use this as a general theme for these spreads to make it a little bit easier to keep a consistent look through my journal while allowing me to print out book covers or art that reminds me of specific books as I go along. So I'm starting in the inner cover of the book, and I just basically wanted to decorate this inner cover a little bit just to make it look pretty. Initially I was going to do a quote page here, but I decided to move it somewhere else. So I'm just using some scrap paper that I have, some paper that I have tea stained, some paper that I purchased that has music printed on it. I also printed out a bunch of pictures of books and libraries, bookshelves, people reading to use in here. So I cut out some of those, as well as vintage drawings of flowers and plants. I am also finally making use of my ridiculously large collection of washi tape and using some craft stickers, as well as some multicolored stickers from my shop. And of course, using my stamp set, because my stamp set is just the perfect vibe for a reading journal with that typewriter font. I'm also adding some doodles with my black fine liner and some scribbles with a few shades of my Archer and Olive acrylograph pens. By the way, if you want to get an awesome square notebook from Archer and Olive, you can use my affiliate code PBB10 for 10% off. The link is in the description. Moving on to my next spread, which is going to be a quote page on the left and the sort of official cover page of the journal on the right. So for the quote page, I found a bunch of bookish quotes on Pinterest, and the one that really drew me in was this one, which wasn't credited to anyone. So if you know who said this, let me know. But the quote is, "Close your eyes, take a breath. Inhale calmness, exhale stress. Make a cuppa, sink into a chair. Pick up a book, disappear." Now, disappear and chair do not rhyme, and it irks me a little bit, but I still love this. It is very evocative of exactly how I feel about reading, all the cozy, calm, cuddly vibes. So I decided to go with this one. And really, for how I'm building these spreads, I'm just playing around with adding different elements and rearranging them, deciding what looks nice, adding some pieces of washi tape and stickers where I feel there's a blank space that needs something, just making it up as I go along, to be honest. Moving on to the next page, which is my cover page. It already has washi tape around the sides because I actually used this bullet journal to create 2 spreads for blog posts on the Archer and Olive website earlier in the year. So I just taped those pages together using washi tape so that I wouldn't have to cut out or destroy those pages by gluing them together, but I could kind of pretend they didn't exist since I've decided to use this as my reading bujo. So for this one, I printed out a larger picture of a library with beautiful big windows and used that in the center as sort of a background for my header. And then I used a couple different pieces of ripped up scrap paper to create this header header, and it's going to say 2021 Reading Bujo. Now, I guess technically this isn't a bullet journal. It is more of just a journal. It's a reading journal / art journal, I guess. But my brain just goes to bullet journal every time it thinks journal. So it is what it is. Moving on to the next spread, which is going to be my index. And I don't usually use an index in my regular bullet journal just because I always know where every single spread is. And I'm pretty organized about keeping all my yearly spreads at the beginning and then going month by month. But because this is my first time ever doing a reading bullet journal, I don't know how good I'll be about keeping things organized as I create them. I may think of a spread I really want halfway through the year and not have any room left to put it at the front and have to put it somewhere halfway through the book. So I just wanted to make an index to make it easier to find specific spreads. Also, I'm thinking I might do journaling on specific books, especially ones that stand out to me as favorites. So I want to be able to quickly find journal entries on specific books as well. So I created 3.5 columns to write things out. I feel like this should be more than enough. And the smaller section of each of these columns is to write the page number, and then the larger section is to write what the actual spread is. And then I just decorated the top left-hand corner, made a cute little header area. Moving on to the next spread, which is my reading goal for 2021, which is to read 125 books. So my goal this year was 90 books, which was quickly increased to 100 just to be a nice round perfect number. And I have passed 100 books. At the time that I'm recording this, I finished 117 books, and I'm pretty certain that I'm going to hit 125 by the end of the year. So I decided to up the ante. I may regret this later, but I am making a goal to read 125 books in 2021. We'll see. Maybe I'll blow that out of the water. Maybe I will read half of that. I can't tell the future, but I can tell you that I like this spread. So basically, I'm just adding 125 boxes to this spread. I'm going to write the numbers 1 through 125 in these boxes, and I'll fill them in as I read each book so I can have that visual representation. This is similar to the Goodreads reading challenge if you use Goodreads, where you can kind of see your progress bar to reach your goal. And then for some reason, I wrote Bujo instead of tracker. So I did a little clever washi tape and sticker placement and went right over top of that with my fix. That's another great thing about this scrapbooky style is that it is so incredibly easy to cover mistakes because you can just keep adding more things on top. I also love this Chillin statue. Kind of makes me think of the Weeping Angels if you're a Doctor Who fan. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of creepy, but I also like it because they seem chill, so I have mixed feelings, clearly. I just liked the idea that the statue was chillin', looking out the window at the rain outside, thinking about all the things they'd be doing if it wasn't so gloomy. Because, I have nothing better to do than imagine the internal life of a statue. So anyway, moving on to our next spread, which is my 21 in 2021. This is 21 books that I for sure 100% want to read this year. A few of these were very popular in 2020 and I didn't have time to get around to them, like Grown, Mexican Gothic, The Midnight Library, The House on the Cerulean Sea, Year of the Witching, Cast, The Vanishing Half. Some of these are 2021 releases that I've heard about that I'm really excited to read, like The Cost of Knowing, Remote Control, Witches Steeped in Gold, Firekeeper's Daughter, Persephone Station. Some of them are books by authors that I already know and love, like Across the Greengrass Fields by Seanan McGuire, All's Well by Mona Awad, or A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. So this is a combination of a bunch of things, but these are all just books that I have on my to-read list that I am highly anticipating and really excited to get to. I think I'm going to draw in my star rating underneath each cover when I read them, and I love being able to see all the covers like this. I try to put them in a gradient order to make things a little bit more cohesive. Anyway, moving on to the next spread, which was inspired by a YouTuber that I just recently found who is Life with Liv. I will link their video down below that inspired me to create this spread. And this is a book bracket so that you can determine your favorite book of the year. So basically, the 12 spaces along the top are spaces to write your favorite book each month. And then you put 2 favorites head to head and decide your favorite out of those 2 for each pairing, which takes you to the next stage where you have 6 contenders. And again, they're split into 3 pairings where you put them head to head and pick your favorite out of each pairing, where in the next round you end end up with 3, and then those 3 go head to head and you pick your absolute favorite of the year. I've seen them used a couple times to rank people's favorite Disney movies or musicals. So anyway, I thought this was a great idea when I saw Liv do it in their video, so I wanted to do it too. And I feel like it's going to be really hard and obviously completely dependent on what pairings you have. Obviously, which books go against which other books at each stage is going to seriously impact the end result. So it's definitely not a foolproof method of determining your favorite book of the year, but I feel like it's so hard for me to do that anyway that any help I can get is appreciated. So moving on to the final spread I'm setting up in this video, which is going to be my ARCs spread. This is what it seems like. It's a place to track the ARCs I'm given so that I make sure that I am reading and reviewing them hopefully before their published date. So ARCs are advanced reader copies. I also get ALCs, which are advanced audiobooks or advanced listening copies. Through the year, as I kept making more book content and I started getting approved for more ARCs, I started to kind of struggle to keep track of publishing dates and staying organized. So I knew I wanted to make a spread for this, just a simple list to be able to prioritize whichever books are coming out first. And I decided to put rating at the end just as a way for me to remember how I felt about each book and as an indicator that I have rated and reviewed the book. So that is the final spread of this setup. I'll go back to the beginning and do a little flip through so you can see everything together in context. I love that this kind of fits in with my bullet journal setup for 2021. Some of the colors, the browns and the rusty oranges, as well as having a lot of circles from the circle stickers I used, they kind of emulate what I did with my 2021 bullet journal setup. So I kind of like that. It wasn't particularly intentional. I think it's just those are kind of the things that I'm drawn to right now and the supplies I had on hand. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I am super excited to use this. I was gushing to my husband about it last night when I finished setting this up, that I was just surprised by how excited I am to use it. I mean, I knew I wanted to, obviously. That's why I decided to make it, but I'm just super excited. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on the setup. Do you like it? Are there spreads you would recommend that I should include? Do you have tips for using a reading journal, keeping up with it? Do you have YouTubers to recommend to me who make plan with me videos for their reading journals? Let me know in the comments. I want to know all the things. As with all my Plantmas videos, we do have another giveaway today, and today's giveaway is with Archer and Olive. So one winner will win their choice of notebook from Archer and Olive's website, just so long as it's in stock, and they can also choose one sticker pack as long as it's in stock. So check out the description box for the rules and how to enter, and good luck. Thank you all so much for being so incredibly supportive during Plantmas. This has been so much fun, even though it's a lot of work, and I will see you really soon in tomorrow's video for Plantmas Day 11. Bye, friends. Thank you so much to my patrons for your support. If you at home want to join the squad, feel free. There's a link in the card and in the description box down below.